Today we will see the augmented reality application that we have built using ARCore and Unity with AR Foundation as an abstract functional layer. So if you look at AR Foundation, there are a variety of features which are available, but today we are going to focus on 2D image tracking and the different Unity version, the AR Foundation version and the ARCore version that I am using has been listed over here. So let's look at the application that we are going to build. So this is going to be augmented reality application using Unity AR Foundation and AR Core that supports multiple image tracking. So as you can see, this is the solution that we are going to develop. So there are two business cards, and for every business card we have a different augmentation layer. So the repo for this particular solution on GitHub is available. The link is given there. And using the same, we have also developed another application. The YouTube link is also provided over there. So please do visit the YouTube, as well as you can download the repo from the GitHub at the given link. Now let's look at the application. So there are three parts that are required as part of the solution. So in the first part, we will do the Unity required settings for the Unity platform, what kind of packages that we need to download, what are the different player settings that we need to do. In the second part, we are going to look at the AR Foundation, how to leverage AR Foundation in terms of creating different sessions, how do we create a reference image library, how do we upload different images, and the third part is about the logic. So let's get it into the first part, which is about the setting up the Unity. So this is the Unity project. Once you download it from the Git repo and upload your project. So this is a this is the Unity project. If you go to build setting, and in the build setting, if you need to change the platform to Android, and you switch the platform, and let's see some of the important parameters those are required in player settings. So in the player setting, you select the right company name, right package name. Since most of the augmented reality applications are built using landscape mode, you can choose the landscape mode. This is a landscape left mode. You can then go to other settings part, and then you can select the OpenGLS which is required. The Vulkan is not supported in this case, so you need to ensure that you select OpenGLS 3, and then you can select the right package name. The API version has to be anything about 24, so just look at the supported API level on your platform, the target device platform, and then you can select the right API level. There are no other important settings. The XR settings are deprecated over there, so no need to go there. What is important is to really look at XR plugin management. So you need to install this plugin and select ARCore. Moment you select ARCore, the ARCore package will get implemented. If not, we will see how to install the Unity package there. So that is all about player setting. So you can go to package manager, and then you can select the different packages which are there. In this case, it is in the project since I have already installed. So this is AR Foundation 3.1.5 has been already installed. You can choose the version that is compatible to your Unity version, and then we have ARCore also, which is again 3.1.5. and again a compatible version based on your Unity version needs to be installed. So once that is done, you can just go to game, and you can select the form factor, which is landscape. So in this case, it is 1920 by 1080, and it has to be in a landscape mode so that all our development would happen. So that's the first part. In the second part, we will go to the nitty-gritties of AR Foundation. We will take a look at how to create session origin, AR camera, and other stuff. So if you take any sample scene, you will have main camera, directional light by default. So for AR Foundation or the AR application, we do not need any of this. So you can delete main camera, you can delete directional light, and what you require is basically the AR session origin and AR session. So you can go and create those particular thing by clicking on XR and then adding AR Session Origin. AR Session Origin has AR camera. There are different components to AR camera, and we have AR Session again, which has different components. What is important to know is that for AR Session Manager or AR Session Origin, you need to add the AR Tracker Manager because we are going to implement the image tracking application. So AR Tracker Image Manager is an important script. It does take the serialized library, the reference image library that we are going to make use of, and it also asks for the prefab. So you can see in the setting there is only one free prefab that we can augment, but in our case we have multiple images, rather two business cards, so we need two prefabs to be instantiated. So we need to write some logic. Now since I already have the scene created, I will just delete this scene and then I will switch over to main scene, which has all AR Session Origin and AR Session. Right, so you can see there are the two prefabs which I'm going to overlay on the business card. So this is overlay card 1, and you can see this is the overlay plane which has been rotated by 90 degree, because by default the images are augmented in a vertical direction. Now you can see that there is an overlay card, and you have the business card 1. Yeah, so business card 1 is there, and then we have my profile also there. So you need to just stretch it and it will stretch it to the canvas. The size of the canvas is as per the business card width and height. So this is business card. Then we have overlay profile, which is again another profile picture of mine that has been uploaded over there. So this is my overlay card 1, which is one of the prefab. Now likewise I will have another prefab for another business card. So let's take a look at the other prefab as well. So this is another prefab, very similar prefab, and what I'm going to just change is the texture for overlay, as both for card and my profile. So with that we have the prefabs ready. We have AR Session Origin, and now what we need to create is a reference image library. So create a folder reference image library, and what you need to do is basically you need to add or create the reference image library. So once you add the reference image library, you can add different reference images. So in our case we have two business cards, and we need to add those. So I already have the reference image library created. Yeah, let me create the two reference images here. So I'm going to add my business card 1. You also need to give the dimension, the physical size. It's about around 8 to 9 centimeters, so I need to give it in meters. So I'll just enter it as 0.089, which is 8.9 centimeter. Likewise, I will add another image because I have two reference images. So I'll go to business card 2, and I will again specify the physical size, which is almost of the same size. So with that, my reference image library is ready, and my prefabs are also ready. And now I think we will. So as you can see here in the AR Session Origin, I need to give that particular library reference in AR Tracked Image Manager. So I will just drag that particular reference library that I have created, and since at any point in time I will be targeting one image, one business card, I'll just say the maximum number of moving object as 1. Now since we have multiple prefabs, there is a logic that we are going to write. So do not select any target image prefab, just leave it as none. And as I just mentioned, we'll have the proper logic that we will write to handle different overlay prefabs as the camera detects different business cards. So now let's move on to the third part, which is about writing the image tracking logic since we have multiple images. So we have two reference images, business card 1, business card 2, and we have two overlay prefabs, overlay prefab 1 and overlay prefab 2. So this is the script, and this script is image tracker manager, which we will again attach to AR session origin. So we will be taking different overlay objects as I just mentioned. So we have two overlay objects. So this is a list. Moment I set this list value to 2, I will have to explicitly add those two overlay prefabs there. So again, we are also defining the dictionary where I'm going to store the reference image name business card 1 and business card 2, and for business card 1 I will have overlay prefab 1 as my game object and overlay prefab 2 for the second reference image, which is my business card 2. So this is a dictionary that I will be maintaining, and based on which image that is being tracked, I will pick up the game object or the overlay prefab that we are going to instantiate in one of the function. We also need to get the handle to AR tracker manager, which also holds the reference library, as you can see over here. So this is the AR tracker track image manager where it has a handle to reference image library. So we need to get that component, assign it to this variable, and also access to the reference library. So this is where I get the handle to AR track image manager, assign it to the variable that I had just declared, and this is the two important functions, so on enable and on disable. So this is the binding that I will do to a function called on image change. So it's just the binding, it's not the actual call to the function. So we are going to bind it, and then we are going to disable that binding in on disable function. In the start function, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the handle to the reference library. I'm going to know how many reference images those are there in the reference library. So in our case, there are 2 images, and then I will load this object dictionary. So the dictionary that we defined earlier in terms of loading the reference image name, which is in a string, and the game object. So this is the dictionary where we will store the reference image name and then the instantiated object. So this is my load object dictionary. So I will define my dictionary. I will then iterate over 2 reference images, and then I will just instantiate those particular prefabs, and then I will add those to a reference library or a dictionary that we have created. And after instantiating those overlay prefabs, I just wanted to have the set active flag to false because I don't want to view them. So that's all about load object dictionary. Then we will take a look at on image changed method that we just we had a binding of that particular function on enable, on disable. So let's take a look at that. So you can see on image changed, and there are set of arguments. So eventually there are 3 things which happens in this particular method. So we have 3 lists. So moment the new object gets tracked, we have the added image, so arcs.added, right? So that's one list that is being maintained. Then moment there are as you track from camera, if there is any change in terms of image, the reference image getting out of sight or it is being added, so you have the arcs.updated list, right? So this is where we have arcs.added, where I will activate a track object method. I'll call activate a track object method, where I will pass the reference image name. If there is any update to the list arcs.updated, I'm going to invoke update tracked object with passing the game object which has been updated. And lastly, if there is a removal, then we are going to destroy. So that these are the 3 things that we need to implement. So activate target object updated, and then the third thing is basically to destroy the game object. So that's trivial. So now let's take a look at activate tracked object. As you can see, this is where the first time the image gets tracked. So what I need to do over here is basically I'm just putting the debug log that the image has been tracked. I will set that particular prefab which I pick up from the dictionary. So my dictionary name is all objects. I'm passing the reference image which I get from that particular method, and there is a game object associated in that dictionary for that particular reference image. So I'm going to set that particular uh, prefab visibility to true, and now that particular overlay prefab is in a world space. I need to really scale it to a level that is visible and in front of my camera. So I'm just going to have some reasonable scale, and that is how I make that particular prefab activated. Now in the update, because update will go every frame, and there is a tracking status, right? There is a tracking state. Either it is there in the camera, then the tracking state becomes tracking, or if it is out of camera site, then it is limited or none. So if it is a tracking, if the tracking state is tracking, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to position that overlay prefab by calling transform.position and transform.rotation, and that will get aligned to a tracked image position and rotation. So wherever there is a tracked image, I'm going to align my position and rotation, which is aligned to a reference image. So that is there. If the tracking state is limited or none, I'm just going to simply set that particular to false. So let's take a look at this. So this is my image track manager. I have two, my overall list is going to have two game objects. So I have set the size to 2. My first element is going to be overlay card 1, which is prefab 1, and overlay card 2, which is prefab 2, right? So these are the two prefabs which I'm going to link, and then now let's build this particular application. So once built, we will see how this particular thing runs on the handset. So this is a landscape mode. The application runs on my Android device. This is Motorola device, and moment I see the business card 1, I'm overlaying the prefab 1, overlay prefab 1, or overlay card 1 as the image. So this is my second business card, and as you can see here, it detects the second overlay prefab, and it gets augmented. So likewise you can see things moving. You can see the logcat also. You can see I can just see the Unity logs using ADB logcat, and you can see as I track different business cards, it will show the tracked image business card 1 or tracked image business card 2. This is business card 2, and this is my business card 1. So you can see business card 1 there, right? So this is how the whole AR application could be built. So this is a trivial application. You can visit, you can download the repo from Git repo, and you can experiment yourself by changing it. Thanks for watching.